And action! Hey, look, welcome to the Monday show. All right, so look, every Monday, we're bringing you the Strongside Showdown. Every Wednesday, we're bringing you Power Players. And every Friday, we're bringing you Fitness Business. These shows are Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 p.m. Live stream on Facebook. It'll crawl over to YouTube. We're going to be putting this stuff everywhere. This is nothing but free content to come into your house, all right? Look, Monday, when we talk about Strongside Mashup today, we're looking at general health, fitness, wellness. We're going to be talking about a bunch of cool stuff. For Wednesday, we're going to bring on Power Players. Dude, last Wednesday was legit. We're Celinda. This Wednesday, we got Ricky, who's the owner of SFX. We're branching out, man. And then Friday, I just want to talk to you about some fitness business. I want to come in. I want to say, look, this is everything that I've screwed up on over the years. How can we collaborate? How can we work together? How can we just build this thing better? And let's create a network of trainers and fitness pros to do it. So look, let's talk about the Strongside Showdown. All right, look, here's what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk to you about the importance and need for some aerobic development and aerobic capacity while you're in this quarantine. Okay, you know, last week I broke down some stuff and I said, look, this is not the time to get less fit. This is not the time to come out of this quarantine worse off than when you got into it. I know that that's what's attractive. It's attractive to watch however many seasons of this Tiger show there are. I don't know, but that's what's attractive. It's attractive to load up at the liquor store. It's attractive to Uber Eats all your pizzas. Totally get it. I'm just telling you that's not what you want to do, man. I'm not saying that you can't watch it. You can't drink a little bit of alcohol. You can't, eat some bad food. I'm not telling you you can't do it. I'm just saying you don't want to evolve into that where you come out of this thing actually sicker than when you got into the thing, right? You don't want to be in that position. So here's the deal. You want to and need to stay aerobically fit and aerobically active in this quarantine that we're going through, this coronavirus. And I want to tell you, what does that mean? I want to give you some parameters on it, okay? Number one is you always need to train above the minimum, okay? So one, we're just going to say above minimum. Look at this expert handwriting right there. All right, above the minimum. Here's what I mean by that. The minimum, I want you to think of that as what you do on a daily basis, okay? The minimum physical requirement to be a human being. What is that? Going upstairs. That's not exercise. Walking across the parking lot is not exercise. Mowing your grass, not really exercise. I'm not saying that those are not physically challenging. What I'm saying is that you have to do those regardless. It doesn't matter if you work out or not. You still have to walk across the parking lot. It doesn't matter if you work out or not. You still have to go up and down the stairs. It doesn't matter if you go to the gym or not. You still have to mow your grass, right? Those are the minimum physical requirements to be a human being. And the moment that you lose those minimum physical requirements, the moment that you can no longer do those, the moment that it becomes too difficult to manage, the moment that you need assistance to tie your shoes, pull on your pants, take in the groceries, help unloading things from your car, whatever, when you lose that minimum physical requirement, that functional capacity, that's when you go into a nursing home. That's when you need assistance. That's when life isn't good. So what you need to do is train above the minimum. Walking upstairs is the minimum. Running upstairs is more challenging. That's above the minimum. Going up 2 stairs at a time, that's improving your capacity excuse me, in that movement, okay? Walking across the parking lot, not exercise. Power walking up a hill is exercise. Using some load, doing a hard, even elliptical. It doesn't have to be compounding on your body or a lot of stress, but you need to be doing something that's above the minimum. So here's what I want you to do. Every day, I want you to challenge yourself to try to train above the minimum. And that's anything. Like an example might be standing up from the toilet is not exercise. That's something you have to do. That is the minimum physical requirement. Air squats, barbell squats, dumbbell squats, jumping, lunging, all of those activities are above the minimum physical requirement. So all of those will preserve your functional quality of life for a longer period of time. So now that you're going, okay, I need to do something. I need to come out of this quarantine as good or better than when I got into it. The first goal is to train above the minimum. Second, how long do you do that for? Well, when we look at duration, how long? You need to sustain at least 25 minutes. You need to be able to get out of breath and sustain your effort and sustain your aerobic capacity for at least 25 minutes. I'm not saying that you need to be able to run 6-minute miles for 25 minutes. What I'm saying is that you should be able to do some type of exertion above the minimum for about 25 minutes. Power walking, riding a bike, some type of exercise routine in general. I'm not saying that you have to be working for 25 minutes, but if you can participate, like we're doing all this online training here at Strongside now, and one of our programs is called the Strongside 30 and the Strongside 45, and those are online programs where we have 7 live stream workouts that we do every day. We send the emails out every day of what we're doing the night before with videos included, like all this stuff, right? Well, all of those are over the 25-minute barrier. Inside that 30-minute or 45-minute window, you're not going 45 minutes without stopping. There is definitely breaks in there, but you're able to participate in that program for 45 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. And if you can do that, you're going to meet that duration. Now, what you're going for is something over the minimum that is about 25 minutes in length or longer. Run for an hour. I'm just saying, to be a functional human, what you're trying to do is preserve your functional quality of life. And you need to be able to do this for about 25 minutes. And then you probably hear that, like, that's cool, man. But why is that so important? The reason that's so important is what this is going to do. So think about what's happening on a quarantine. In general, you're probably sitting there, you're probably hanging out, you're probably not doing much. I mean, you're in your house. Like, how big's your house, right? Sorry, I gotta get some water. Sorry, but how big is your house, right? You can only move around so much, okay? When you circulate all this stuff, when you get out of breath, then yeah, buddy. Thank you. Gallon every day. Speaking of that, you should drink a ton of water. If you want to know how much water you should drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. If you weigh 200 pounds, you should drink at least 100 ounces and then add water when you work out, about 16 to 24 ounces per hour. I wouldn't even count what you drink in exercise. Just try to drink 3/4 of a gallon to a gallon of water every day. You want to talk about massive amounts of energy and a great metabolism and a functioning immune system? Drink a bunch of water. Anyways, why do you need to do this? Why do you need this aerobic development? I'm not talking to you about fat loss. This is not a fat loss conversation. This is I'm in a quarantine. I'm going freaking nuts because I don't have any routine or regimen or anything going on in my life. I need some consistency there, right? And I also want to come out of this thing healthier, or at minimum as healthy as when I got into this thing. So here's how your blood works. I know it's crazy. We're talking about blood, right? Your blood works like this. It carries nutrients in it, and it circulates through your whole body, okay? And the reason you have a heart is to recirculate that blood. You got blood that comes into your heart and blood that comes out. Blood that comes into the heart does not have any oxygen in it, and then that's called deoxygenated blood. And then blood that comes out of your heart is oxygenated. That's all I need to know. So blood goes into the heart with no oxygen, goes out with oxygen. The reason that's important is I want you to think of the oxygen as a way to get the goodness into your blood and get it out to your body. When the goodness goes into your blood and it goes out to your body, it's then going to give your body the nutrients that it needs to do whatever you want it to do. To go to the bathroom. Like, you want to talk about having a good gut system and digestive system? 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. You better have a really healthy gut. When you talk about having energy levels, bone density, muscle contractions, just enjoying how your body feels, you need the benefits of that blood flow. So when your blood is going into your heart and it doesn't have any oxygen and that deoxygenated blood goes in there, think of it as junk. It's all been used. It's junk. It's old. It needs to get rejuvenated, right? Well, to do that, it needs nutrients, and we'll call those groceries. So in order to get the nutrients into your blood system, it needs groceries. So when it goes into your heart, think that it's getting the junk out. It's putting the groceries in from all your good food and all that you're eating in this quarantine, and then it circulates it out to your body. That's extremely important. But it needs to contract to do that. I want you to think of your heart like a water balloon. And it's got to be squeezed. You have to squeeze it so it gets back out. And it's going to fill back up with water, and then you got to squeeze that water back out. And it's going to fill back up with water, and you got to squeeze it back out. You have to do that. Then if you don't do that, your circulatory system is going to drop. Your sensory nervous system is going to drop. Why is that so important? I don't know about you, but I enjoy thinking. If you can't think or can't make decisions, your sensory nervous system is going to drop. Your reaction time is going to drop. I know that you're like, why do I need a fast reaction time? We're talking about the overall health of your brain to be able to communicate with your body. That sounds pretty important, right? I know this isn't a science show, but that's pretty important, okay? So the more that you can get that thing to contract, the more times that you can squeeze that water balloon, you can get more junk to come in so you can send more groceries out. And you want to replenish that. You shouldn't be frequenting the grocery store more times than you exercise, right? You're going to need to exercise so you can get the need for those new nutrients to come into your body. So that's what I want you to think about this topic of aerobic capacity being. Yes, a byproduct is that you will lose weight. Yes, a byproduct is that you will have a faster metabolism. Those are amazing. That's really what you want. That's the outcome. But the reason you need it right now, dude, if you're not getting out of breath for 25 minutes a day, what's happening to your lung capacity? It's getting smaller. Your lungs can shrink all the way down to the size of an orange. You ever seen those people that do that deep sea diving where they take a big deep breath and they swim down like 50 meters or however far it is and they grab something and they come back up? That deep sea diving, during that time when they take a big deep breath, their lungs get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they constrict all the way to the size of a grapefruit, and then when they go up, it slowly expands over and over and over again. And it's because they're able to use a lot of their oxygen, right? So if you take a big deep breath in of air, that's called oxygen intake. And for the most part, we can all take in the same amount of oxygen. But oxygen uptake is how much we can utilize of that. So if I take a big deep breath, and I only use 50% of it, it's all right. Like, I'm going to have trouble breathing. I'm going to go upstairs, and it's going to be difficult. My lungs are not going to function at 100%. If I can get to the point where I'm able to do really good aerobic activity for at least 25 minutes, and I take a big deep breath in, and I get to utilize upwards of 100% of the air in my lungs, I'm going to have more utility from that. It takes oxygen to burn fat, so I'm going to burn a lot more fat because I can use more oxygen. I'm going to be healthier because my lungs are more open. Think about the other side of that. If you were to just sit there all the time and your lungs get smaller and smaller, you can probably get blood clots. That's a real thing. I've had 3 pulmonary embolisms, blood clots in my lung, almost died. That's why after surgery, they'll have you breathe into those tubes where you take a big deep breath in and you try to keep that little ball in between the thingies, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's all based on how much air you breathe in, and that way you can expand your lungs. If your lungs shrink too much, you accidentally become way too sedentary because during quarantine time, you were binge watching Netflix too much or something, then you're not going to get anything done. The outside is that you might gain weight. The outside is that you will feel more miserable. The inside is you're not circulating any blood. Your lung capacity is dropping. You are feeling worse. You have no energy. Your chance of pulmonary embolisms or blood clots go way up. And that stuff will break off, go into your heart, and have a heart attack. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying what you're at risk for. We cannot have the cure be worse than the disease. We can't. That's what we're trying to prevent here, right? So every day that you're in this quarantine, what I want you to think about is, what am I doing? What is the minimum physical requirement of life? I need to be able to squat. I need to be able to do a sit-up. I need to be able to do a push-up. Those are all minimum physical requirements. I need to be able to get out of breath for about 25 minutes or so. And what am I doing every day to train above the minimum? I'm not, dude, here's what I mean by push-up, is that you like sit-up. I'll give you a perfect example. Sit-up. A sit-up is not an exercise. That is a minimum physical requirement to be a human being. You have to sit up. It's not even an exercise, it's just a thing, right? I'm not telling you that you need to hold on to a 100-pound dumbbell and start doing atomic sit-ups. I mean, if you can do that, great. But I'm saying that there needs to be something more difficult than the sit-up that you're doing. A leg raise, a bicycle crunch, something more taxing on the abdominals, a plank. You need to be doing something above the minimum. It needs to get you out of breath for about 25 minutes or so. Now, here's the really cool thing. Why would you want to do something when you say, all right, this is great, but this is 25 minutes of my whole day, right? And that's great, and 25 minutes of activity is awesome, but you're not working out. If you did this for 25 minutes, you are not working out for 23 and a half hours a day. So what if you could do something that raised your metabolism and had that sucker pumping all the time, your body pumping all the time, the other 23 and a half hours a day that you are not working out? That would be the big win, right? So I'll give you an example. You're here right now. You are tuning in to the best show that Facebook has to offer right now. This show. This is you. You're sitting, on average, burning 60 to 90 calories per hour. That's great. That's good. And this is called your resting metabolic rate, or some people might call it your BMR. It's not quite the same thing, but you probably heard BMR over RMR and stuff. Okay, then you're going to do exercise, and your metabolism will raise up. Most of us know that when you work out, your metabolism increases, so you can burn a higher amount of calories at rest. That's called your thermic burn. After your workout, your metabolism will return back to normal. All right? This happens every time you work out. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're doing P90X. I don't care if you're doing bar, spin, Pilates, yoga, Strongside, whatever, dude. Your metabolism goes up and it will return back to normal. The gap here is this. I am not telling you that running for 30 minutes is a bad decision. You should get out of breath above the minimum for about 25 minutes a day or longer if you choose. But if you do what's called LSD, not the LSD that you're thinking about, but long, slow distance, all right? Long, slow distance cardiovascular activity. This drop is about 3 to 4 hours. So you come in, your metabolism's here, you run for 30 minutes. You run 3 miles in 30 minutes. Go you. After the workout, your metabolism is then raised for about 3 to 4 hours, okay? And you might say, well Mitchell, when I ran, I burned a whole bunch of fat. That is true. You only ran for 30 minutes though. Great, run 15 miles. Would you run 2.5 hours? It doesn't matter. Number one, you ran for 2.5 hours. That means you're not running for 22.5 hours, 21.5 hours. And then are you going to go run for 2.5 hours the next day? Probably not. You're probably going to take the day off because the recovery rate is so large, because the intensity and effort that you had to give was so massive that you can't do that again. So is it really productive to your overall fitness level? But then let's say you participate in something like the training we do at Strongside, the high intensity interval training. We'll do a lot of metabolic conditioning here, where we'll have you do some weights, we'll have you get out of breath, these repeat interval things, the whole method that we preach here at Strongside. Your metabolism goes up, and after a workout, your metabolism will go down. It will go down. But this gap, if you do like what we're telling you to do, is 36 to 72 hours. And then you're like, well, okay, number one, that's a win, right? But here's the bigger win. What did I just say? If you run for a really long time, go run a marathon. Let's say it takes you 4 hours. The next day, you're not going to run another marathon. You're very sore and tired from the marathon you ran the day before, right? This, do Strongside 45, that online program that we're doing. Do Strongside 45, 36 to 72 hours. Metabolism goes up and it comes back to normal. But you're probably not going 36 or 72 hours out working out, right? You're probably going like 24. So that's you. And then you work out, your metabolism goes up, and it comes back to normal. But again, you're not going to go 24 hours. I'm sorry, you're not going to go multiple days, right? You're going to go 24 hours. You see what's happening? And then I'm going to catch it here. And over time, when I started at a 0% metabolism, I was able to raise it at every little data mark to make my metabolism 100% higher than what it was when I started. That's the benefit. What you're really trying to do is train above the minimum physical requirement, 20 to 25, 35 minutes a day, whatever. Participate in an exercise program that has a lot of value, like some type of functional fitness or Strongside or high intensity interval training or something like the programs that we're providing for you that allow you to then raise your metabolism. Because it's not burning 60 to 90 calories an hour, it's how do you burn 140 to 160 calories per hour. That's what's going to increase the blood flow that we talked about, opening your lung capacity, getting your heart to get more junk out and more groceries into that blood to recirculate everything. That's how you're going to come out of this quarantine with a healthier body than what you got into it with. Here's what I want to leave you with. Here's what I would suggest doing. Take a picture. Take a picture of yourself today, all right? And then when this whole quarantine thing is over, take another picture of yourself. And try to hold yourself accountable to it. And say, what did I do throughout this thing? Look, I get you're trying to avoid the sickness. Totally get it. I'm just asking you to be a better you. You got to understand what the minimum physical requirement is, what exercise actually is. Why are we preaching all this stuff at Strongside? For you to raise your minimum physical requirement, raise your ability level, and raise your exercise productivity. Not just getting hot and sweaty every day, but doing things that are truly valuable. All right. So look, I hope you enjoyed today's show. This is the Strongside Monday Mashup. Wednesday, I'm going to be here with my guest, Ricky, and we're going to be talking about power players and bringing you a bunch of just monsters that are dominating their space about being your best self. Dude, that's what Strongside is. Strongside, we make people better. And if you want to get better, you need to be around other people that are better. You can't be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to go find another room. We want to bring you some amazing people that say, hey, look, this is where I started. I want to try to get better. Let's rise up. And then Friday, we're going to talk about fitness business. And I'm really, really excited for that topic. But it's 1 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in.